Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, wherever you're watching us from. Today's lecture is on how you can quickly or effectively edit the macros. And we'll focus on the GoalSeek, but there'll be one or two skill sets that you will learn from this particular lecture. So let's assume your project model start period is the 1st December 2021. It's the end of month. Take it up to 2026. Okay. Doesn't look nice, and it's fine. It's fine, it's all right. So what do you put in here? Let's say we have the EBITDA. What we want to do is to compute equity internal rate of return and also the equity NPV. So first we need to bring in the earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. I'll randomly do this, so don't worry. I'm just creating random numbers. 4,500 to 6,210. Move the formula. Okay. Then what else do we have? We have the principal. Principal up when? Let's say up to 2024. And between there's no need to put around between here. So say maybe 800. Let's bring in the principal. Interest. Let's say interest is maybe 550. Let's bring in equity investment. And we assume that this equity investment was injected on 31st December 2021 of maybe 200,000 to start with. So what we want to find is the NPV. Let's assume that the equity hurdle rate like this, which is basically the discount rate. Equity, let's say it is 10%. So I want to find the NPV and we want to find the internal rate of return. So NPV right here, the values in there, and you have the date. And go to the internal rate of return, which is basically the equity return. You have the values. And you have the dates. It's 12%. Okay. So in most models that I'm not a heavy macro user, I script very light codes in my model. I don't like having heavy codes, but it's always inevitable to model a GoalSeek component within your model. So this is what we'll do. Let's just push in a GoalSeek on our returns. So do like this. So I'll say GoalSeek. So in here you can say GoalSeek IRR. Sorry. Let's say your internal rate of return, your target internal rate of return is 16%. And you want to change your equity investment. How much would it be? So let's bring in a macro. Do not waste your time start thinking of how you're going to script a VBA code. You can first record it and edit it. And this is what I want to show you. And this is the thrust of this particular lecture. Though indirectly, I'm also showing you how you can get your NPV, how you can get your internal rate of return. I know those that are coming from business schools, they'll be wondering that I've pushed in interest and there's a hurdle rate of 10%, yet how would I put it? Yeah. For example, if I'd put hurdle rate here without adding the equity component, and in the schedule, I include interest and principal, maybe you'd get confused that why is it including interest when interest is supposed to be part of the discount rate. In this case, it is not. What we have done is that we have only captured or factored in the equity rate, not the debt rate. We are not coming up with a WACC. So if I was coming up with a WACC, which is a combination of debt and equity, then there wasn't going to be a need for me to include the interest in there, because by principle, it would have actually been taken care of. But in this case, the hurdle rate of 10% that you're seeing there is purely equity. So this is why I've brought in the interest. I find it much easier doing it like that. So let's do this, guys. Let's record. Just record. So we'll go to, I can see, we go to data. We go to what if. We go to GoalSeek. This is what we have here. Cell C, which cell are we setting? We're setting the internal rate of return cell, which in this case is D16. We want it to go to 16%, 0.16. By changing which rate? By changing the equity investment. Because if we are to, by nature, if I was to do this and get into an sale, the GoalSeek will not allow me to do that. So I'll have to hard code it 0.16. Then we'll edit later. So this is what we get. So I'll stop the recording and go back to edit this macro as easy as that. I'll edit it. I'll remove this component here. I'll come here. Where is the 16% coming from? From D18. So I'll change this part to be range. D18. And then done. Done as in done. So I can get back here and it's in D18. Okay. So let's take it back to 200,000. So you'll find most of the models that I develop, I bring in the GoalSeek macro, because that is very key. If you're looking at the internal rate of return, you're looking at NPV, and you're also trying to avoid circular errors. And this is very key when you're actually modeling on interest, because mostly interest will bring in issues of the GoalSeek, especially if you're actually picking the balance brought down and the balance carried down, getting the average. So it will give you that circular error, and you want to avoid that circular error. So you can actually bring in a macro, but you need to know how to edit it. So in this case, if we say, for example, we want it to go to 13%, I'll do like this. If we want it to go to 11%, what would be the equity investment? Watch this. Click here. So it shows me that we need equity investment of 208 to get an internal rate of 11%. But suppose the internal rate of return, because we're doing sensitivities and the investors, they are so comfortable with the 18%. And most of the investors from the East, they will be comfortable with 16 to 18% of their returns. So you have 18% there. Watch this number. So this is what you get. Thank you so much. And please throw in your comments in the comment box. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. Thank you.